Kato, you told me they were going to do a second generation.
Told you so, told you so.
Of the Kia Soul. I didn't really think they should, but...
Well, they had to. I mean, Peter Schreier, the Volkswagen designer, he called this the Volkswagen Beetle of the Kia brand.
Oh, the icon.
The soul of Kia.
I think it is.
Well, I love the changes. I tell you that,
it's better.
I wasn't a big fan of the last one. It was a little too square, too little box. Yeah, it looked like a kid with a crayon drew it, you know. But this one, it's all kind of round and smooth. Look at the leather seats in there.
And a Soul?
Yes, it's going to be something that Kia can be proud of. Peter, the Soul, you love this car, right? I mean, this is really something that says a lot about Kia.
Yeah, I already loved the first one, but I think the second Soul is even stronger than the first one, and I like that we have it for Kia because it is not the normal member of the product range. It sticks out a bit, and I think it also attracts other customers who normally probably would not be interested in Kia. So it's a bit of a halo car for us.
Pleasure to meet you, Sebastian.
Nice to see you again.
Over at Infiniti, they were showing off the new Q30 concept car. Not a coupe, not a hatchback, not a crossover, but a fusion of all three.
So, Kato, how long will it take to build up the Infiniti brand to be the equal of the German? Some say it's a 20-year process.
No. You know Carlos Ghosn, who's head of the whole Nissan Renault empire.
He won't wait.
He's 5 years. 5 years tops. 2018, if Infiniti isn't selling 500,000 cars around the world.
Because they're doing less than 200,000 now.
172 to be exact. Then one of two things will happen.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of people will get fired.
Or they can shut down the brand.
Are you feeling the pressure now? Because the future of Infiniti is so much tied up in having good design. And that's on you.
I was feeling good until you just said that. You know, actually, I welcome this because I'm very passionate about Infiniti, and I feel that we have the opportunity to occupy a space that other premium brands don't. I mean, there's some very, very good premium brands, the German ones, super good. And their artistry is in engineering, in the technical side. And for that leaves so much space for us to create this very high precision car, premium car, but has a kind of romantic seduction that is not just on special versions, it's the brand. The brand is seductive. And
this concept here, tell me about it. What are you trying to achieve here? What's the look here that we should understand?
I think at a glance, the look is that we want people to say, oh, Infiniti is going into a different area where, you know, we have played very well in sedans and SUVs and things like that. But this is a little bit hard to define. It has a very sexy, slim silhouette, almost shooting brake. But and we still have that Infiniti power expression in the front. But where we want to go with this and what we want people to feel is, again, this sense of artistry, this seduction, this slightly raised coupe, but the body is still very slim. So it's not a crossover, and it's still at the end hard to define, but people say this is just for me, perfect for me.
Over at Jaguar, there was a concept vehicle that took me totally by surprise.
Well, Kato, here is the Jag F-Type, which I love. It's been a home run for Jaguar, publicity-wise.
Oh, I mean, I've driven it on the track, I've driven it on the roads of Spain. I mean, it's just an amazing car, but it's a low-volume halo car. So 100 grand for the V8 in Canada, how many are you going to sell, right? How many are you going to sell? You need, if you're Jaguar, a high-volume crossover wagon-type thing.
So Jag is going to make crossovers?
Absolutely, and we're seeing here in Frankfurt the new architecture, the aluminum architecture, and then we've seen the crossover concept. You know what Volvo? What's Jaguar? I keep thinking Ford. You know what Jaguar's announced? They're going to add another 1.5 billion pounds of investment and hire 1,700 more people. They think they can sell piles of those starting in 2015.
Jaguar is into the crossovers. Ian, I like it, but isn't that a Land Rover? I mean, the company is Jaguar Land Rover.
Does it look like a Land Rover? I mean, honestly.
No.
Land Rovers are geometric.
Yeah.
This is sculptural. This is sensuous.
But it's their turf.
Some of it is, yeah. The real off-road stuff definitely is. But, you know, if we want to grow up in this world and become a very, very global brand, we've got to think about this stuff. This is actually what a whole generation of people really want.
Yeah.
We're not saying we're going to make it, but it's a point of experimentation. Just to see what people think. Do we have permission to go there?
Yeah.
Perhaps the world will say no. You know, your land is F-type and you shouldn't move out of it. But I think we need to experiment and find out if we have permission. I think we do, actually. But it has to be a Jaguar. It has to drive like one too.
But I would think that the designer's a Jaguar designer was, well, I'm not doing a station wagon or a crossover. I'm a sports car person or a shooting brake or a saloon designer. But that?
Well, you know,
Do you have
honestly,
to sell it to the team?
Honestly, no, actually no, because they're all 20-something, and this is the way they want. You know, if you ask any of the team now, what do you want in this brand for the future?
Yeah.
This is what they go for. This is a young man's, young girl's car. If you'd asked me 5 years ago, I said, no way. I don't want to do a crossover for Jaguar. I love my sports cars. But you know, the more you go around the world, the more you talk to people, China, America, and Europe, people want crossovers. But the thing for me is, we're ever going to develop one, it has to be a Jaguar purely, through and through. And my datum always for these things, whether it be the style of a car, the type of car, whatever, what would Sir William Lyons do? I think he would look at the world pragmatically and decide, now's the time.
Cato, this is a Civic for me. I like it. Look at all the stuff you can get into it.
Oh, well.
A Civic station wagon. It's going to sell like crazy in Canada.
No, son.
Yes, it will.
No, it won't.
Of course. Look at the looks of the thing. Look at the functionality.
I'm sorry to tell
It's
you.
what you want in a Civic.
No, you can't buy a hatchback Civic, much less a Civic Tourer kind of station wagon.
Why not?
Because they don't want you to have one. I mean, it does
want
make
one.
sense. This young lady's loading suitcases like mad back here. I'd have one, but for some crazy reason,
Yeah.
Honda Canada just doesn't want four-door hatchbacks sold in Canada, or even little wagons like this. But Hyundai does.
Oh, one day. Well, let's go to the Korean. The world premiere of the Mazda 3, no surprise they do it in Europe.
Well, I mean, it makes perfect sense. What Mazda's trying to do with this car is out Volkswagen Golf Volkswagen.
It is. Well, it has that sporty feel. It's the kind of car that Europeans like to drive.
And so it should sell, and Mazda certainly needs the help here because the marketplace for Mazda has been quite slow here in Europe, and they've got big plans for it.
Will the Sky Active technology package help?
Well, don't you love a car company that chooses a buzzword
Yeah, and they stuck with
and
it.
they stuck with
Yeah,
it.
they
They
did.
stuck with Zoom Zoom for forever.
long.
Yeah, but most times the marketing bosses of car companies, the
Yeah.
agency comes in. Oh, here's a new one. Here's a new name. Here's a new slogan.
Here's a new bill.
Right, and they exactly, and they change every year. They've stuck with this, and I think the marketplace is starting to understand what it actually means, which is fuel efficiency and low emissions.
And zoom, zoom.
More from Frankfurt, including Cadillac, Ford, and Porsche, right after the break.